Hello there, thank you so much for clicking on this video. Spider-Man Brand New Day comes out this week, and in honor of that, and before we get to actually see what happens in the movie, I wanted to look at 13 theories that have been circulating around. Some of these are the most popular ones. There's probably more floating around, but I picked these 13, and we're going to be looking at what is the likelihood of these theories coming true. And so we've got our tier list here. We've got no way, go home, this is not going to happen. Far from possible, but it's still possible. Spidey sense is tingling, so okay, we got something going on. It's amazing, I love this theory, or it's for sure going to happen without a doubt. So we'll see where we land. So these are not in any particular order, and then again, these are just 13 that I found floating around, and some of the ones that I've believed myself. So we'll see where I end up ranking them, right? So we're gonna start with the Gray Hulk. So I've got my Gray Hulk icon here. Let's move that to the front. Gray Hulk. What do I think about Gray Hulk? Now, we've seen trailers and clips where the Hulk is green. Now, I think some people are still on the hype train of we're gonna see Gray Hulk, and they think that they're lying to us and they're color correcting it to look green, but in the actual film it'll look gray. Now, I don't know how I feel about this theory. I don't see why you would do that. I think it would just confuse general audiences, and unless you're going to explore it, I don't know why you would do this. But it's not impossible, right? You could just do it and just be like, oh yeah, it just happened, and you know, fans, you know, it'd be something for the fans, and the fans can explain to the normies. But yeah, I don't know. I don't see this really happening. I'm gonna go Spidey sense is tingling, just because it can go either way. I don't see it happening for sure, but it's not impossible, honestly. It's a really cool one. It'd be cool to see him as the Great Hulk. All right, next one. Sadie Sink is Jean Grey. I think everyone knows where this one's going. This is definitely happening. I don't think this is a well-kept secret. I think it's for sure what she is. Now, egg on my face if this is not true, but I am almost certain that she is going to be playing Jean Grey. Now, is she actually going to be the villain or not? We'll have to see. Now, she's usually not the villain unless she has the Phoenix Force and is the Dark Phoenix. So, again, very unlikely to that be the case in the movie. That would be crazy if they did that. So, I think for sure, though, that she is Jean Grey. Now, we'll have to see what her character is doing in the movie. Next one, and this one became really popular when the first trailer dropped, which is Peter Parker becomes Man-Spider. So, we've got Man-Spider. How do I feel about this one? As we got more information, it seems less likely. Now, it would be cool. It would mirror Hulk's transformation and kind of, you know, give them something in common there. And it could be good narrative-wise, but I don't know. Again, it'd be one of those things like if you have all these villains and then you have Jean Grey and then, you know, you have all these characters you're introducing and then you make Peter Parker Man-Spider. I don't really see this happening. Now, you know, again, egg on my face if this just is like, oh yeah, this obviously was always going to happen. It does end up happening, but I don't see this one happening. I'm sorry, guys. I think this is just too far-fetched right now. It would have to be its own thing, especially with some of the other things that we were looking at. I don't see this really going down. So, Man-Spider is going to go in far from possible, but it's still possible. All right, this one is a really big fan favorite, and that's going to be Daredevil shows up, or at least Matt Murdock showing up in the movie. Now, we know that he's in prison. Spoilers for Daredevil Born Again Season 2. But yeah, we have seen shots of Spider-Man fighting in a prison against the Hand, and so people are theorizing that, you know, that could be Matt Murdock fighting with him, or he's trying to, you know, free Matt Murdock, and we're going to see him because he needs help and stuff like that. This one, kind of like the Gray Hulk one, I don't think it's impossible, so I think I might pair them there. Which one do I think is more possible? I think Daredevil coming back is more possible. It doesn't seem unlikely. I don't know all the rights issues and stuff like that. I know there's some rights issues, like Punisher can be in this because he can be, but then other characters like Daredevil and, oh my goodness, the Kingpin, sorry, Wilson Fisk cannot be in this for some legal reasons and some rights issues. But I mean, Matt Murdock, I think, can show up, if that makes sense. I don't know how this works. Someone might have to let me know what the rights are for that, but I know Wilson Fisk, I think, can definitely not. So who knows? Anyways, I'm rambling about this. I would really like this to happen. And is it more possible than the Grey Hulk? Like, is it way more possible? I think it is way more possible, right? I think I'm gonna move this actually to amazing. This is amazing. This would also be really cool to see. You know, we haven't really seen them fight together. We have seen Matt Murdock interact with Peter Parker, but we haven't seen that there. It would be kind of a cool continuation. Like, oh yeah, we saw this character, you know, especially for the people that don't watch the TV shows. Hey, we did see this character, right, in the last movie, and here he is again, and now he's like a superhero and stuff like that. So, yeah, that would be really, really cool. So I'm gonna go with amazing. I think this is actually pretty likely to happen, and if it doesn't, you know, oh well, it would be cool to see though. All right, next one, MJ dies. Ooh, okay. This one was kind of new to me. I hadn't seen this a lot, but based on like the press that they're doing right now, it looks like they're thinking there's some somberness to the ending from what they are saying, and so a lot of people are now theorizing that MJ actually ends up dying, which would be interesting because if she is supposed to be the Mary Jane, or you know, she's Michelle Jones in this, but if she is the MJ of this universe, then that would be interesting because usually MJ doesn't really die, and if she does, she gets brought back. It's usually Gwen Stacy, right? Gwen Stacy's the one always getting killed off. So I think, oh, like, do you kill off Zendaya? You know what I'm saying? No, there's no way this is happening. I mean, it's a cool theory. I really don't think this is gonna happen. There is absolutely no way. Go home if you believe this. This is no. All right, next one. Black suits Spider-Man. Now, the only reason I think this is a popular theory right now is because we are getting Doomsday and then Secret Wars, and so in Secret Wars in the comics, that's when Spider-Man gets his black suit, the symbiote. So, do I think this is gonna happen? Ooh, if it does happen, I don't know. I'm gonna go with far from possible. And I'm going to put it actually below Man-Spider. I think Man-Spider is actually more likely to happen, funny enough. Do I actually? Yeah. I think it's less. I think black suits, again, if you have so many things happening in a movie and then you put the black suit. Yeah, now post-credit scene, sure. I think there might be like a post-credit scene showing that it gets attached to Spider-Man, but seeing the black suit, I don't think is happening. So, do I see the symbiote showing up? Yeah, sure. Post-credit scene probably to tease Secret Wars and stuff like that for the fans. Be like, oh, here it is. So we're gonna go with far from possible, but it's possible. I think it would be possible. More likely, we'll see the symbiote attach itself to Peter Parker, but we won't see the black suits, if that makes sense. So, yeah, kind of yes and no on this one, but we're gonna go with very unlikely, very, very unlikely. All right, our next theory is another Sadie Sink theory about who she could be playing, and it's that she is playing Mayday Parker, either from the future or an alternate universe. There's a theory going around that she's going to be Mayday Parker, and this is definitely going all the way down here. No way. Yeah, go home. There's no way this is happening for a few reasons, right? First off, that wouldn't make sense with what the powers she seems to have are. Second of all, she's definitely playing Jean Grey, almost certainly, right? So again, the powers thing doesn't really match. But most importantly, it's that if we do this, this is another like time manipulation, alternate universe, multiverse kind of thing. And I know for a fact they were not trying to do that with this movie. And they just had another movie, right? No Way Home, with multiverse stuff, and they wanted to keep this again more self-contained, so there's no way that this one's happening. But interesting theory, pretty fun, but yeah, no way. All right, next one. This movie takes place during the events of Thunderbolts. Yeah, I don't know why this exists. I think it's more likely than Mayday, but less likely than MJ dying. I just don't see the reason why this would even happen. Also, it seems like this movie doesn't take place. I mean, the majority of the movie is going to take place during one time period. But can it happen where they appear, or you see the stuff with Bob happening and you can see it from Peter Parker's perspective? Sure, but it doesn't seem very necessary, and it just seems like they're just gonna tie it in. And I know for a fact that with these Spider-Man movies, they don't just kind of do that stuff unless it's the first Homecoming where obviously it has to directly connect to Civil War. But apart from that, there's no like, oh wow, look, this is what Spider-Man was doing during that time, and it doesn't seem like that's the direction they're going to be going with anyway. So yeah, this one, another no way, absolutely not going to happen. All right, then we have the theory that Mr. Negative will appear in the movie. Yeah, this is also really low down here. Now my thing is it more likely than the other three down here? And I think it is. But there's a few reasons why I don't think this is going to happen. I think it's possible, but really far from it, right? And the reason why I don't think it's going to happen is we have Tombstone, who's kind of in that same world of like, hey, we've got a businessy man who's a villain of Spider-Man kind of thing. And then we just had Wilson Fisk in the Daredevil Born Again show. So it's like, how many of these characters are you going to do, right? And it would have been cool to see him, and it would have been awesome to have him as the villain here. But maybe they'll save him for the future. Doesn't seem like they have space for him from what we've seen already. So yeah, not very likely. But it could happen. I could see it happening. All right. The next theory is that the Jackal is going to be the main baddie of the movie. We're gonna go with, I really like this theory, right? The reasoning behind the theory, and I'm not super familiar with the Jackal in the comics, so if you want to inform me and educate me a little bit more, you can do so. But from what I know and from what I've read so far as to why people are theorizing this, is that the Jackal in the comics has something to do with mutating Spider-Man's DNA a little bit, and kind of that's in the realm that he plays in, right? So yeah, that's the theory, right? Since we see Peter Parker's going through a mutation in this movie, there's a theory going around that he is going to be the one behind it all, and he could possibly be the one who helps Jean Grey's mutant gene activate and why she goes through the mutation. So yeah, it could be that we have the Jackal as our main bad guy. Now, I would want to put it up here. I feel like I'm really betting on this one happening, but the reason I'm gonna leave it at amazing is because it would be really difficult to do. So I'm worried if this is true, if they're gonna pull it off correctly, because this is like a plot twist kind of thing, right? So you would want to either introduce the concept of him early on and then boom, he hits, because again, kind of bloated. We got Punisher, the Hulk, Sadie Sink's character, the Hand, Scorpion, all, and I know Boomerang and all those Tarantula, those characters are probably just going to be in a montage, so they're not really characters. But having another character like that just randomly feels like it could be a lot. So if they do it correctly, it would be really cool. Either they introduce him pretty early on and we see him, so that's not like a big thing and it's a surprise and they haven't shown it to us because it's going to be a really cool story to follow and they don't want to spoil that right now. But yeah, I really like this theory. I think Matt Murdock appearing, I'm going to actually put it above Matt Murdock because I really want this to happen. I really see this happening logically in terms of what the movie's going for. So this will be really, really cool. So we'll just have to wait and see. All right. Avengers Doomsday teaser appearing in this movie is our next theory. And I think it has to be up here somewhere, right? I don't think it's impossible, and it's probably more likely than not. Now, I'm going to put it at the very bottom of amazing, and the reason why is I would definitely say it's happening if we were living in a world where there wasn't going to be an Avengers Endgame re-release. But we're in that world, and so we know for a fact that that's when they're going to really push Doomsday and have a big teaser. So, is it impossible? No, obviously, and it's really likely to happen, right? One of the post-credit scenes being that. But I don't see it actually definitively happening, right? They could just leave it to like, hey, we have a teaser about where Spider-Man is going, and we'll pick that up in Doomsday, but not directly show that, right? So we're going to go with amazing, and actually going to put it at the bottom of it, just because I don't think it's a definite sure thing happening. All right. We've got 2 left. Next one, Hulk will remember Peter. Man, these Hulk theories are very difficult to pinpoint. Which credit to them, I guess, right? I'm gonna go with Spidey senses tingling. And just kind of like the other Hulk theory. It's kind of interesting that they're both going there. But the reason why is I'm not swayed either way, and I'm not convinced either way that this one's happening or not happening. The reason for that is there's a few technicalities that I'm like, how does this work, right? And if you have your own ideas, let me know in the comments. But first off, how does the whole personality with Bruce Banner and Professor Hulk work, right? When he was Professor Hulk, does the Hulk also retain that experience? It's weird, right? Because I know it's supposed to be a mesh of the two, but it looked like it was more Bruce Banner than anything else. So therefore, if it was Bruce Banner mainly as Professor Hulk, then Hulk would have never even found out that Peter Parker was Spider-Man, because he wouldn't have met him ever, and wouldn't have found out about, you know, what the mystery reveal that everyone found out about. So not very likely. Now, the reason people theorize this is, you know, this comic that I have as the image here, but also they have teased that there is a single individual that remembers Peter Parker in the movie. And so people are theorizing that's Hulk because there's precedent for it in the comics, but I just don't think logistically wise it makes sense, which is kind of a bummer. It would be cool to see this moment. Maybe he does, right? Maybe it happens. So that's why he's going right in the dead middle. I'm not convinced either way, but I honestly think it's more likely the Grey Hulk, actually. So we'll go ahead and do this. But yeah, I don't know. Okay, lastly, Jean Grey will be the one who remembers Peter Parker, which this one I think definitely has to go at the very top. Oh, it's definitely happening. Because again, they have teased that there is one single individual that remembers Peter Parker. And if Jean Grey's in the movie with her, you know, mind abilities and stuff like that, then she's definitely going to be the one that remembers. Either that or, you know, she reads his mind and knows the truth. I guess, does that count as remembering? I don't know, but that's what we have here. I do think that this is definitely going to happen if she is Jean Grey, which, you know, again, I think I'm also pretty convinced, just like everyone else, that she is. So therefore, it would make just logical sense to be that she remembers who Peter is. So I'm putting it under there, obviously, because this needs to happen first and then this. So we'll just go in the order. But yeah, let me know what your theories are, what your favorite ideas, or what you think is going to happen in the movie. I'm super excited for this movie. I will definitely post about my thoughts and some of the best moments and stuff like that. I'll probably do a video, spoiler stuff, right, a few days after it comes out. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think, and let me know if you think my listing is wrong, right? Are you convinced that Sadie Sink is Mayday Parker and you would put her up here? Let me know what you think, and I appreciate you for watching all the way through. Thank you so much, and stay awesome.